Let me begin by introducing you to the next First Lady of the United States, Jane Sanders.
Thanks for the warm welcome, Tacoma. It's great to be here with you.
Let me, again, this is just an unbelievable turnout. Let me thank all those who have spoken: David Bean, Deborah Parker, Sacred Family Canoe Group, Shama Savant, Teresa Mosqueda, Jamie Margolin. Let me thank Tim Robbins for being here tonight. And let me thank someone all of you should be extremely proud of, one of the outstanding members of the United States Congress, your Congresswoman, Pramila Jayapal. We are here tonight to focus on two enormously consequential issues. First, together, we are going to defeat the most dangerous president in the modern history of this country. Donald Trump is a pathological liar. And no matter what your political point of view may be, we cannot have a liar, we cannot have a president who is running a corrupt administration. We cannot have a president who is undermining American democracy and our Constitution. We cannot continue having a president who is a racist, a sexist, a homophobe, a xenophobe, and a religious bigot. And those are his finest qualities. But it's not just his character, or more likely his lack of character. It is that he is a fraud. And by the time this campaign is over, the American people will understand he is a sellout to the working families of this country that he promised to defend. During his campaign, Donald Trump wants us to hate the undocumented. We're supposed to hate the undocumented, but when he was a private businessman, he loved the undocumented, hired hundreds of them in his resorts so he could exploit them and take advantage of them. Donald Trump says that corporations should not outsource jobs, but as a private businessman, he had his factories established in India, China, Turkey, Bangladesh, and Mexico, paying workers there starvation wages. So, Mr. Trump, you are a liar, you are a fraud, and the American people are not going to re-elect you. the reason that the American people are not going to re-elect Trump is they understand that there are fundamental problems in this country that must be addressed. We will not accept the massive levels of income and wealth inequality that exist today. We will not accept an economy in which 3 people own more wealth than the bottom half of our society. Where the top 1% own more wealth than the bottom 92%. Where 500,000 Americans will be homeless tonight at the same time as massive tax breaks have been given to billionaires. We're not going to accept an economy where over the last 45 years, real inflation accounted for wages for working people has not gone up 1 penny. We're not going to accept an economy where 45 million people are struggling with student debt. We're not going to accept an economy where many millions of our people cannot afford health care and where our people are being ripped off every day by the greed and corruption of the pharmaceutical industry. And there is a reason why the very, very rich get much richer while the working class of this country struggles. There is a reason why Congress gives tax breaks to billionaires while 500,000 people sleep out on the street. And that is, we have a corrupt political system which enables billionaires to buy elections. So today we say to those billionaires who are spending hundreds of millions of dollars to support candidates who represent the rich and the powerful. Today we say to Mayor Bloomberg, we are a democracy, not an oligarchy. You're not going to buy this election. And we say to Mr. Bloomberg, you are certainly not going to win when you have a record in New York City that included racist policies like stop and frisk, which caused communities of color, African Americans and Latinos to live in fear and humiliation in New York City. You're not going to win an election when you oppose raising the minimum wage. You know, people who have billions of dollars should not be opposed to raising the minimum wage above $7.25 an hour. You're not going to win an election when you called for cuts to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. The American people, working families all over this country, want an economy and a government that works for all of us, not just a handful of billionaires. And we're going to win this nomination. We're going to win here in Washington. And we are going to defeat Trump because we have the strongest grassroots movement in the modern history of the United States of America. We may not have billions of dollars to throw around, but we have hundreds of thousands of people in every state in this country knocking on doors. We won the popular vote in Iowa because in freezing cold weather, people were out knocking on doors. And we won the primary in New Hampshire because we knocked on hundreds of thousands of doors in that state. And that's why we're going to win here in Washington and why we're going to win all over this country. Now, we may not be able to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on TV ads, but I am extraordinarily proud that our campaign has raised more campaign contributions from more Americans than any campaign in the history of this country. And the average contribution is $18.50. This campaign is a campaign of the working class and for the working class. And we're going to win this election because we have an agenda. Thank you. And we are going to win this election because we have an agenda that speaks to the needs of working families from Vermont to Washington. This is an agenda that says that in America, if you work 40 hours a week, you're not going to live in poverty. We're going to raise that federal minimum wage to $15 an hour in every state in the country. Women are not going to make 80 cents on the dollar. They're going to make the whole damn dollar. And at a time when millions of workers want to join unions, we're going to make it easier for workers to join unions. We're going to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure and create millions of good-paying union jobs. And we're going to put people to work building 10 million units of low-income and affordable housing. This is America. We will not continue having 500,000 people sleeping out on the streets. And we are going to profoundly change national priorities in this country. Instead of investing hundreds of billions of dollars in tax breaks and subsidies for the fossil fuel industry, we're going to invest in education. And that means universal, high-quality, affordable child care for every working family in this country. It means tripling funding for low-income Title I schools so that all kids in America get the education they deserve, regardless of the zip code in which they live. And because we believe in education, we believe in those people who educate our kids, the teachers of America. Our goal is to make sure that no teacher in America earns less than $60,000 a year. And because we believe in education, we believe that all of our people, regardless of their income, are entitled to a higher education, college or trade schools. And that means we will make public colleges and universities tuition free. Now, 12 years ago, as you'll recall, against my vote, Congress voted to bail out the crooks on Wall Street who nearly destroyed our economy. 2 years ago, against my vote, Congress decided to give $1 trillion in tax breaks to top 1% and large profitable corporations. Well, if Congress could bail out the crooks on Wall Street and give tax breaks to billionaires, Congress can cancel all student debt in this country. And when we talk about an agenda for working families, that means that we are going to end the international disgrace of our great country being the only major nation on earth that does not guarantee health care to every man, woman, and child. Health care is a human right, not a privilege. It is totally insane that today we are spending twice as much money per person on health care as is Canada or any other major country on earth. We are spending $11,000 for every man, woman, and child. The average working family in America spending $12,000, 20% of that family's income. But despite all of that huge expenditure, we have 87 million people, including many here tonight, who are uninsured or underinsured. We have, and this is a total disgrace, we have 30,000 people each year who die because they don't get to a doctor on time. We continue to be ripped off by the greed and corruption of the pharmaceutical industry, which in some cases is charging us 10 times more for the same prescription drugs sold in other countries. And if you want to hear a cruel and dysfunctional system, understand that every year some 500,000 Americans go bankrupt because of medical debt they cannot pay. What kind of system do we have when people who are struggling with cancer or heart disease or Alzheimer's have got to worry about financial ruin because of the outrageous cost of healthcare in this country? And that is why together, whether the insurance companies like it or not, whether the drug companies like it or not, we are going to pass a Medicare for all single-payer system. And what that system means is there are no more premiums for you or your employer. No more co-payments when you walk into a doctor's office. And we end the insane concept of deductibles. No out-of-pocket expenses. And because we're going to lower drug prices in this country substantially under our proposal, nobody pays more than $200 a year for the prescription drugs they need. And under Medicare for all, we cover dental care, hearing aids, eyeglasses, and home health care so people are not forced into nursing homes. And when we pass a Medicare for all system, we will save hundreds of billions of dollars a year and make certain that the average American pays substantially less than he or she is paying today. Now, our campaign, unlike many others, has the courage to look at the difficult challenges facing our country. Now, we got a president who thinks that climate change is a hoax. Well, I myself believe that Donald Trump is a hoax. And under our administration, we will listen to the scientists, not right-wing extremists. And all of you know what the scientists are telling us today. What they are telling us, and this is scary stuff, is that the crisis of climate change is worse than they had previously anticipated. They are telling us that the polar ice caps melting at a faster rate, oceans warming, drought more severe, extreme weather disturbances more severe. They are telling us that by the end of the century, there may be hundreds of millions of climate refugees who can no longer live in their communities because there is no water to drink or land to grow their crops. What we intend to do, and I'm very proud that we have introduced the most sweeping and comprehensive climate change proposal ever introduced by a candidate for federal office. And that proposal, based on the principles of the Green New Deal, that proposal tells the fossil fuel industry that their short-term profits are not more important than the future of this planet. And that means that we will create up to 20 million good-paying union jobs as we transform our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy. Climate change is one of the great moral issues facing the entire planet. And to my mind, we have a moral responsibility, and I speak as the grandfather of 7 beautiful kids. We have the moral responsibility to make sure that future generations can live on a planet that is healthy and habitable. And I will tell you this, all of you know that climate change is not just an American issue. It's a global issue. And my job as president will be to tell the people in China and in Russia and in India and in Pakistan and Brazil and in Africa, all over the world, that instead of spending 1.8 trillion a year on weapons of destruction designed to kill each other, we should pool our resources and fight our common enemy, which is climate change. And when we talk about a government that works for all and not the few, that means that we're going to bring about fundamental reform to a broken and racist criminal justice system. Together, we are going to end the absurdity of the United States having more people in jail than any other country on earth. We are going to invest in our young people in jobs and education, not more jails and incarceration. We're going to end private prisons and detention centers. We're going to end the so-called war on drugs and legalize marijuana in every state in this country. Here's a question. I got a question for you all. How many people here know somebody who was arrested for possession of marijuana? We're going to expunge the records of those who are arrested for possession of marijuana. And when we talk about broken and racist systems, we're going to bring fundamental reform to our immigration system. We are going to end the demonization of the undocumented. On day one, through executive order, we're going to rescind all of Trump's racist immigration executive orders. On day one, we're going to restore the legal status of the 1.8 million young people eligible for the DACA program. Under our administration, federal agents will never be snatching babies from the arms of their mothers. And we will not be throwing children into cages. And together we will do what the American people want, and that is comprehensive immigration reform and a path toward citizenship. Every American, no matter what his or her political views are horrified and by the gun violence that we see in America. And let me just simply say this to you. Our gun policy will be written by the American people, not the NRA. And that means universal background checks, ending the gun show loophole, and doing what the American people want is ending the sale and distribution of assault weapons in this country. Now, as the United States Senator, I listen to a lot of speeches on the floor. And I hear speeches from conservative Republicans who tell us that they believe in small government, they believe in getting the government off the backs of the American people. And I say to those hypocrites that if you believe in getting the government off the backs of the American people, understand that it is women who must control their own bodies, not the government. And my promise to you is I will never nominate anybody to the Supreme Court or the federal bench who is not 100% pro Roe v. Wade. We will codify Roe v. Wade, put it into law, and we will significantly expand funding for Planned Parenthood. Bottom line is women control their own bodies, not the government. So here we are today in the midst of the most consequential election in the modern history of America. As a United States Senator, I fully appreciate the power of the corporate elites and the 1%. They have endless, and I mean endless amounts of money. They own, to a large degree, the media. They have tremendous control over our economy. Okay? They are very, very powerful. But at the end of the day, we are the 99%. And the last that I heard, I don't have a PhD in math, but the last that I heard, 99% is a hell of a larger number than 1%. So what that means, this is what that means. That means that if we stand together and not allow Trump and his friends to divide us up based on the color of our skin or where we were born or our sexual orientation or our religion, if we stand together, ain't nothing gonna stop us. Now, Trump and the Republican Party are getting nervous. Wall Street is getting nervous. The insurance industry is getting nervous. The drug companies are getting nervous. The fossil fuel industry is getting nervous. The military-industrial complex is getting nervous. And the prison-industrial complex is getting nervous. And the Democratic establishment is getting nervous. And you know what? You know what? They should be getting nervous. And they're trying to figure out all kinds of ways, how do we stop Bernie and the movement? But they are not going to succeed. Because workers all over this country are demanding decent jobs and decent wages. Young people want a college education without going into debt. The overwhelming majority of Americans understand that health care is a human right, not a privilege. All over the world, people know we have got to take on the fossil fuel industry and save the planet for climate change. So that is why the establishment is getting nervous. Let us, right now in this enormously important moment, do everything that we can on Election Day here in Washington, not only to vote, but to bring out our friends, our neighbors, our co-workers. Let us have here in Washington the largest voter turnout in the history of the Washington primary. Let us go forward together. Let's win here in Washington. Let's win the Democratic nomination. Let's defeat Donald Trump. And let us transform America and create a government that works for all, not just the few. Thank you.
All right. So, that was a little choppy. On Facebook, I had to start over from scratch a few times. And on my bare bones page, I had to start over a couple times. And but I'm live streaming right now on YouTube, and it seems like that has done the trick. Although there's really nobody listening, as far as I know, except for one viewer, one concurrent viewer. 0 likes. Perfect. Well done, everyone. Well done. Gotta start somewhere, right? Never been much of a political guy, ever. The last time I ever got involved in politics was... well, it wasn't even Canadian politics. It was back in the day when George Bush was running for a second term. Looks like we're in the shit again, but it's just shittier. It's shittier shit. Let's see who's online right now. Alright. Got a few people. Vicky, sorry, couldn't take your call. I was in the middle of doing this. But maybe later. I thought maybe we could talk about politics a little bit. And maybe Bernie Sanders, since that's the topic today. With the exception of you know, hey man, Zaina, with the exception of one thing, I couldn't really see any holes in the platform that Bernie Sanders is running on. Sounds like he would be an individual, and it looks like him and the people that work with him are interested in whatever's best for the majority of people. So, isn't that a good thing? See, it's really interesting to note that where Bernie Sanders gets his money is from individual small donors. That's a big deal. I'm not sure if everybody comprehends this. Recently I've been kind of putting out a few things about super PACs and large corporate donations, businesses and corporations buying governments. Is not a real great idea. In fact, it's a horrible idea. So we should really pay attention to where the money comes from, how people make their way into the offices and the positions that they are in, how they got to a point where they can actually run for said position. In this case, we're talking about the presidency of the United States. There's a huge inequality that I'm sure we're all aware of. We continue to hear the 1% analogy, where there's 1% of the population, of the world's population, that has most of the wealth, and the rest of us are dealing with crumbs. Just switch here to another screen. There we go. That's me. Hi. My name's Tom, and this is Bare Bones Media. Bare Bones. Why Bare Bones? Well, I got no money, so I gotta do it on the cheap. So this is all I got. But it's not bad. I'm live on Instagram. I'm live on YouTube, and I'm live on Facebook in a number of different ways. I'm live on Bare Bones Media, live on my own Facebook page, and I've opened up my screen to be live as well. So there you go. Zaina, let me see what you're saying here. You need my advice, huh? Well, I don't know if I can help you, but ask me any question you want, and if I have the answer, maybe I can make sense of it. So it's about the organization whereby me and you, we can form out an organization to help the orphans. Well, right now, buddy, I'm not sure I'm your guy, but if there's anything that I'll look into whatever you're doing there later, and we'll see. I think I looked you up before, and if indeed, which I believe you are, until otherwise proven, I see your pictures. I saw the pictures of you working with the kids, and that's a cool thing, man. And it's necessary, and it's important, and it's needed. Right now, I'm kind of dealing with this little political thing. I'm in Canada. I shouldn't even worry about it, eh? But and I'm not really worried, but it is important because there's an administration that's in place right now that is not good for the world. So in the long run, this affects all of us, and it affects you as well. The United States holds a lot of power, and they like to wield it, the people that are in government. Those people that are in government, which are separate from the people, the regular people that, like you and me, that go about their daily life. And it would seem that if there's any time to speak up, this would be the time. Kind of making an appeal to the people in the U.S., but I think there are certain people that, no matter what you say, no matter what kind of logical argument that you can present, the dialogue's not really there because they're not listening. Anyways, they've already preformed their opinions, so I'm not talking to them. But I am talking to the people that do care or see that there's something wrong, and maybe they haven't been a part of the whole political landscape. I know politics are kind of make me a little ill sometimes just watching it. But if it's affecting us, then it's important to recognize how deeply it's affecting everybody. And it affects me in Canada. I know that. I can see it. I can see the that kind of mentality growing in my country to some extent, buying into the greed that seems to be at the core of the government. Right now we're talking about the government. We're talking about Bernie Sanders, but who's going to make a change? Liberal, conservative, they've all been the same for so long. Bernie Sanders was a independent up until, I believe, now. And now he's running as a liberal. Not sure how that's all going to pan out, to be honest. But we got to start somewhere again. And we go through these times when we make the craziest decisions based on gut reactions, and our gut is telling us things, and our gut's probably right, but we also have to use common sense. And if you want to shake up the government, a guy like Trump, he's going to shake it up for sure, but it's going to be worse in the end. You just picked the wrong guy. That's all. No big deal. We picked the wrong guy. You picked the wrong guy. No big deal. I've been wrong before, many times in life. So, can we see the obviousness of how wrong that decision was? Can we look at the current situation in Washington, in the Senate, in the Congress, the Supreme Court, the judges, and how evangelical, radical, fundamentalist Christianity has taken hold, and racism has been given a new life, a new lease on their former position that they had at one time. It's a real problem. What are we gonna do? What are you gonna do? As an individual, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna tuck your tail between your legs and skulk away? Bury your head in the sand? Or are you gonna look at it square on and say, man, this is bad? Because it's bad. He's bad. Hey, Precious, how's it going? Just talking about politics. Where are we at right now? Bare Bones Live went down again. My mom was on. And for some reason, my live video stops. But it doesn't stop other places. So it's very perplexing why this happens. So what do you think about Bernie Sanders? Really? Is the message what you want to hear? There comes a point in time where we have to come to a consensus. The middle ground. Is he finding the middle ground, and is it progressing towards something that is better? Like, does it make sense for everybody to get the same type of education that the rich get? Does it make sense to forgive debt that is incurred by post-secondary education? Does that make sense? Does it make sense to have... What is this? YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. That's fine. I'm used to it. Does it make sense to look at the prison system and how many people are incarcerated and the reasons why and the lengths of sentences and who's in jail? The overwhelming number of black people in jail, black people going to jail for the same crimes but getting heavier sentences, things of that nature. Are those things, are they important to look at And is your candidate the one that you're leaning towards pushing that, or is the candidate that you're most fond of right now pushing for a better economy, kind of pushing that agenda, which is a lie. You got billionaires running for president, and you've got billionaires that are a president, a billionaire, and they're making a lot more off the backs of the people, and because they're in office, they're securing deals, and it's just got to be stopped. Does it not? Am I wrong? Possibly. I don't think I am, though. No one's really contradicted me yet, but I'm willing to have the conversation with anybody. In fact, I'll keep looking to see if there's any different ways of thinking about it. I don't agree with everything that Bernie Sanders says, but most I do. The only thing that I would question, because I don't think it's so cut and dry, not that I need to express my own personal opinion on it, but abortion, this Roe v. Wade, that whole thing, that's a huge deal for the evangelical Christians, and I understand why. Abortion is a pretty cruel thing to do if you've ever seen an abortion. If you know what the procedure is, it seems pretty barbaric, but there's a 50-50 split on this one. I recently, maybe about 2 years ago, did a poll of my own, and a little conversation I had on another profile that I had on Facebook, and it was pretty apparent to me that people were questioning it. Some people have had, I've been back and forth with this one all my life. The right for a woman to control her own body and all that. And how can you disagree with that, really? I think we should all have control over our bodies. But then again, we're kind of faced with, is it murder? Are you killing a human? Which is a pretty bad crime if you were to do it outside the womb. So, but, we're going to disagree on some things, right? Who's the best candidate? And why would a Canadian care? Why would a guy like me, who has never voted in their life in any federal election, care about another country and how that's going down? I've been quoted as saying that your vote doesn't count, and to some degree that I still stand by that. But there's a reason why I said it, and it might not apply now. It may not apply now. Never, I can't say never in history has it ever been this bad. I think, I don't know anything really, except what I've experienced in my lifetime, and even then, do I know everything that's going on behind the scenes? No, obviously I don't. It's impossible to know everything. You can't know everything. Yeah. You got someone from Thailand here. I don't know how to pronounce your name. But it's good to have you. Cool. So, what's important? We all have to ask ourselves these things, and is it important to have the right people that do the job of carrying out the people's agenda? Is it important for us to have the right people in place that care more about what the people want as opposed to what individuals want or what large corporations want? Now, is it important for us to get off of fossil fuels and look at more sustainable energy resources? Different technology that would possibly supply energy for free, clean energy for free. Should we be heading towards that globally? It's very important that because the United States has so much military kind of sway over everybody, that we nip this in the bud quickly, because what's happening is we're getting near to that black hole, that event horizon where when you go beyond it, it's too late. So it's all fine and dandy to look at it and see, okay, well, that's pretty close. Maybe we should reel some things in. Otherwise, potentially, we might have to start all over again. And I'm not really keen on starting all over again. And when I mean start all over again, I mean civilization starting all over again. It's going to happen no matter what if it continues. The trajectory. If that trajectory continues, then there's nothing much I can do about it. But is there something we can do? And I wouldn't be on here, definitely, talking about politics, which I just do not care about at all. It depresses me. But is it possible to create that change? How much influence does one person or two people or a group or a handful of people have? Well, I would say a lot. Anything good, anything really starts with just a handful of people anyways. But if you saw the crowd that was at that particular speech that Bernie was giving in Washington State, that should give you a pretty good indication of where the general populace is, or what the general populace is thinking, or where they're leaning towards, I'm gonna bring Instagram in here. Everything just keeps on cutting out on me. Maybe it's my connection here. It's not as strong as it could be. So that's why most of the time I'm pretty fragmented with my thoughts. Well, I'm usually pretty fragmented anyways, but just need to keep on top of it, that's all. And you're from Thailand. Awesome. So I'm coming to you live on Facebook, and I'm also live on YouTube. And if you'd like to see the hour and 12 minutes that I've done so far, and on Facebook it was cutting out, on Instagram it's cutting out. If you want to see the whole thing, you can refer to it. I titled it Bare Bones Media, and it's the last one that I did. So feel free to look at it if you like. Fast forward all the boring parts, but I'll post the if I can, I'll post the speech that Bernie was making. It was a huge crowd. And you'll see a difference in the crowds, eh? You'll see the difference in the crowds where Trump is speaking. He'll pack the back of them with people with signs and hats and things, and it's it's all set up, right? Obviously he's got a following, but it's just not as big as this. However, these people are pretty hell-bent in maintaining control because they haven't had the power for a long time. So anyways, it's worth looking at all these things, all the little particulars, how everything's put together, how people come across. Donald Trump and people like him, like Mitch McConnell and that whole conservative Senate and everybody, liberals, conservative, they're all kind of doing the same thing. They're doing that back and forth kind of thing, and it seems like Bernie Sanders is one of the only ones, maybe Elizabeth Warren possibly, that are different than your regular politicians. So if you're looking for someone to shake things up in Washington, that actually is a pretty good team. Bernie's been at this for a while. I'm not really sure of all his backstory, but I've been following him enough to know that, or to believe that there's a genuineness about him. And if you're looking for someone to beat the current administration, not that that is the best reason for picking someone, but he sure can, because in many ways he's speaking the truth, and you can't argue with the truth, right? You can try to manipulate it, which politicians do all the time. But I guarantee if you want a better quality of life in the country that you're in, and if you vote, and if you think your vote counts, then your vote should go towards the person that displays more compassion and is concerned about the planet. And the Trump administration is not. So They concern themselves with making more money, and that's not going to come back to anybody. That's going directly into their pockets or their friends' pockets. So don't be swayed by their argument that the economy is better. Really, just look around you. Are you doing better? Are you getting paid what you're worth? You know? One of the things I liked to hear in that little speech there is that if he gets into office, he'll guarantee that every teacher is going to make a bare minimum of $60,000 a year, which I think is reasonable. Teachers should get paid much more. Like, how valuable is that? How much value do you place on your kids? If you raise the wage of certain occupations like teachers, you'll get better teachers in the long run. You know, pay people what they're worth. Pay people what they're worth. And yeah. What else? I wonder if there's anybody left here. No? Yep, that went down. Shoot. Crazy. It says I have an excellent connection, but I keep getting cut off. Which is crazy. You start thinking, who doesn't want, although there's a bit of a lag time here too. I'm not sure what it is, whether it's on my end or pretty sure it's on my end. Let's just go back to here. Talk to Zaina for a bit. Hey, Quinn Bucktooth! Long time no see, yes. And I did. I cut my hair and I shaved again. Because it was getting out of control. I keep on... Facebook keeps on shutting down on me. It makes it really difficult to keep a conversation going when during a segment you have to go live again, you know, like 5-6 times during the thing, but oh well. Good to see ya. Alright, I'm just gonna read this out loud so I know what's what. I don't want to miss anything. And what I usually do is I just put a little heart beside everything that I've tackled so far. Tommy, I already need help them out. But my request is that I need another hand from someone. And God told me that another person can either be you. My target is to help them out by taking them to school. Sorry to ask you, have I ever traveled to Uganda? And no, I have never traveled to Uganda, but I'm willing to travel. I just do not have any money. So that's an impossibility right now. I am willing to go anywhere, but right now I just don't have the funds. In fact, I have zero money. Zero. So that's a problem. Especially when you want to travel. If you can't afford the ticket. But anything's possible. You never know where life takes you. Shut down a few things here. I was going to cut and paste that, and I'm going to put it here as reference. And then I'm going to put it on my... Oh. There we go. Ah, crap. Is that right? No, whatever. It's there. Yeah. So, I think that's all for today. Is there anything else? Instagram, is there anything else you'd like to talk about? There we go. What's going on, Quinn? I'll talk to you later. I got your painting in the back here. It's on its way. I haven't gotten to it yet. Sorry. It'll get there though. Eventually. It's 10:57 p.m. on Monday. It's February 17th, 2020. I'm coming to you live from Penticton, British Columbia, Canada. At the Beaumont Motel in room 240. What are we going to do next? What's important? Put me in, coach. Put me in. I'm ready. Put me in. Tommy, I need to talk to you in your messenger. Will it be okay? No, I only talk in public. And if you want to send me a comment, you can send me a comment anytime on my page. Yeah, I just chosen that it's just easier to be public. If I was to answer every private message, I would be too busy doing that, and I wouldn't be able to do the other things that I feel are necessary at this particular moment. But anytime you want to talk, I'm in. I'm game. Let's see what we can come up with. All right. So there you go. There you go. What else? That was Bare Bones Media. Signing off. Until the next time we get together. Can you believe that? 654 event logs, Quinn. 656! Gosh, it makes me want to continue doing this. Live 45 minutes, 58 seconds on Facebook. And I've been live streaming here on YouTube for about an hour and 26 minutes. You can refer to it on my YouTube channel, Tommy Cowell's YouTube channel. Don't expect much. If you don't expect much, you might find some validity and or maybe, if you pick the right program, some entertainment value. Most likely what you're going to get is more of this. Hey, how's it going? I see you. Are we good? We're all good here? You guys good? Did you like that show? It's a good show, eh? No? Need more energy? More energy next time? Alright. It's good. Good advice, thank you. What'd you think? Think everything went well? Why don't you talk to me? Just staring at me. Why are you just staring at me? You don't have to answer that. I don't want to put you on the spot. How about you? And you? Was that a good show? Don't answer that. I still have half a cup of tea. I don't know why I'm cutting it short when I'm doing so well in the event logs category. In fact, I'm feeling my second wind coming on. I wonder if I should continue. Well, what else do I have to do? I'm not tired. I had 2 naps today. I went out for a walk. So, yeah, I got a lot done today. I should be a lot more tired. I'm debating whether or not I should watch more TV. TV's stupid. I got this band on my TV. It's on one side, and then it goes to the other side. And I can't get rid of it. So, it's been like that for 2.5 months. I asked someone about it yesterday, but they couldn't fix it. They didn't know what was going on. That's fine. Who needs to watch TV when you got this? 717 event logs. Where's Quinn? Where's Quinn when you need her? That's alright. 720 event logs. That's a good time to end off, I believe. Okay, so you'll send me email page? But what have you agreed about the issue of going up was me help out those in needy orphans add street kids. Hey, anything to do with kids that are in need, I'm a big proponent of. I just don't know very much about you, that's all. So, just being honest. But you got my moral support. At least. That's not really worth too much, is it? I get it. If I had billions of dollars, if I had billions of dollars, well, I wouldn't. I would give it away. most likely wouldn't make much sense to have it stockpiled anywhere, right? If it could help people. Money. Money's stupid. But it's the system that we have to work within. So is that it? I think that might be it. I'm going to end Facebook off right now. So until another time, Facebook and Zaina and Quinn and Precious. Have a good night. Godstein, Vicky, Amper, Nicholas. Talk to you guys later. Be well. Bye. Well, now that we got rid of those guys, Instagram, Wilson, talk to you later. Bye. And now, share to story, of course. That was a really good show. Isn't that a great show? Yeah, we'll leave. Alright. Then we're going to open this up a little bit. YouTube. Let's have a talk. Why is it that there's only one concurrent viewer right now, and who are you? Is it me? It probably is. It's me. I'm the one concurrent viewer. Hey, man. That was a good show today. Thanks. Yeah, you really kicked it up a notch. Yeah, I did. I came in really prepared. I had everything written down, and I just went for it. Yeah, I could tell. So, when are we going to bring in Simon Banks? Like, that guy's cool. This other guy's not that cool. Nah, he's alright. He's alright. You gotta love yourself. If you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else, right? And I really love myself. Love. Is that a thing? I think we should talk about that some other time. Remember, the people that you deal with on a daily basis, the people that you elect in government, the people that you have teaching your kids, whatever it is, the people that are around you, that surround you, that are working on behalf of. Remember, it's very important for everyone to be more compassionate towards one another. That's important. Right? Yeah. That is important. So, my name is Tom. And this is Bare Bones Media, just signing off. It's Monday, February 17th, 2020. Yeah, my mind is completely empty. Bye. Bye.